how are y'all today? Finally got my parts in for my tractor deck. If you watched the previous video, you know that I took the drive mechanism apart on it because it was leaking oil, and I told y'all that I had to get some snap ring pliers. I got the snap ring plier kit from Snap-on. I got it apart, and I got the parts from RK19. I'm about to show you where I got them from. I got some paperwork when I got my tractor, and it has some part explosions of the deck and the parts that go to it. So I went in here and found the part explosion that I needed that matched up with mine. So here's the part explosion. Number 11 is a seal, and number 16 is a seal. That's your part number right there for seal 11, and that's for seal 16. Now that's not the part number for your deck, that's the part number for my deck. So if you're going to do this, you need to pull your book out, or you need to find the part explosion of yours if you don't have the book online, and get the right part number. Then I gave them the part number. I called Rural King in Withville, Virginia. There was a guy there. He's the guy that handles the tractor parts there, the main one. And he was very professional. It took a while to get. Took a few weeks to get the parts. I got a total of 4 seals. I got 2 extras. So that way if it leaks in the future, I can do this job again without having to wait 4 weeks for my parts and go and call somebody. I don't know if it'll ever happen again. Hopefully these seals will fix it and won't leak for a long time. But today I'm going to show you how to put these in. I'm going to put this thing back together, put it back on the deck. Alright, if you watched the last video, you remember where I stopped at. Didn't have the snap ring pliers I needed to get this snap ring out to be able to pull this shaft right here out. So I went to my Snap-on guy and I asked him if he had a set of snap ring pliers. And I don't like spending this much money on tools, but I'll keep these for the rest of my life. They were a lot, man. They were a lot of money. That being said, I got the tools that I needed to do the job. And we're going to go ahead and get these seals out of here and replace them. Put this thing back together. Finish this little video series. This should be 2 videos long. I'm trying to help y'all out a little bit here. That way if you decide you want to fix it yourself, you can. You don't got to go take and pay a bunch of money and have somebody do this. But I just took a pry bar and pulled this seal right here out. I've already done this and the camera wasn't recording, so I put the seals back in. I'm going to show you what I did. I pull that seal out. So now we gotta get this one out. So what I done was I got a wood screw and I took a regular old claw hammer and I drove that screw down in there till the teeth would grab. Then I ran that screw down in there a few teeth, just where it would hold that seal good. End of the seal, top of that seal. Don't go too far and hit your bearing and mess it up. Just go in there a little bit, enough to hit that seal. Then I took this spacer off where it goes in between the blade and this shaft, and I took a flat bar and stuck under it. Just pop that seal right up out of there. So if you ever need to get a seal out and you got a new one and you're ready to make sure your new one's right before you do this, because it messes it up. Just screw a screw into it, use some leverage, and pop it right out. Clean this up a little bit here. So I got my new seals. There's the bags that came in. TYM. Don't know where that's from. There's my new part. I cleaned up the shaft right here. It looks good. I cleaned up around here. It looks good. I'm probably gonna take and put some of this lubricant on here, rub it around the shaft, so this seal don't thing are messed up when I put it on. You always want to make sure on a seal that you don't mess up this little ring that goes, that little metal spring ring that goes around there. That's what holds tension to keep that seal around that shaft to keep it from leaking. See that little ring? Don't mess it up. That's on any seal, especially on car axle shaft seals. They're really bad to get messed up on axle seals on automobiles. So I slid it down in there that far. And I put lube on the shaft, but I don't want no lubricant or anything on the outside right here. I want it to just seal rubber to metal. I don't want no grease to be able to come out around there. So I'm gonna pull this back up. I'm gonna dry it out real good. Make sure there's clean and dry, the seal and the metal that it's sealing up against. Sometimes if I feel like there's pitting or something on that metal, I'll even take and put some RTV, or what I really like to use is that shellac, like Indian head shellac, thin paint on gasket maker stuff. And it's actually aircraft is the best kind, aircraft sealer. But I like to paint that on the seal too, and it works pretty good because it's thin, but it fills up any kind of little deviations where it might leak. This in good shape. It's pretty new, this whole gearbox, so it should seal back up. So I'm gonna sit it down on there. Probably take this spacer right here. It won't go over. I'll find something that fits down over that, or you can just go around and just kind of do it evenly. Kind of slow. And when you get down real low, you can take a punch and finish it. Use this piece of copper rod right here to work. Alright, now that seal's replaced. Same thing on this one. I like to make sure the outside of it's dry. Go around and clean where the outside of the seal is going to mate up to the box really good. And if the seal doesn't have a shaft running through the middle of it, and you can do it, it's better if you can take something flat like this piece of metal right here. But you want one that's a little bit bigger, so it stops whenever it hits the outside of what it's, so it'll be flush. Sit that on there. I don't want to dent this up, so I'm gonna put this on top of it so I hit this part. So now that's flush with the top of that. So that took care of that. Now it's got 2 new seals in it. Hopefully they won't leak. That'd be nice. Clean up the shaft and the bottom of this pulley real good. The part where the seal's going to ride against, I'm going to put some lube on this shaft so it doesn't cut the seal or damage it when you slide it in. Take the time and slide it down in there. Now I got to put that snap ring on. I'm going to flip this box up like this. I'm going to find something to sit it on right here, so gravity will help me hold it and the snap ring will slide down with gravity. Alright, sit it on something like a crate so gravity will help you put this snap ring in. These snap ring pliers are pretty wild. They're quick release. You just push that button in and they lock. So they go from pulling in to pushing out just by a quick release button. There it is. The little nipples on them are sticking out just enough to where they grab really good and they hold. It's a pretty good set of pliers from Snap-on. So I'm gonna try it again. I'll reach over here with my thumb and push down that side. Try to get that snap ring in that groove, all the way in that groove. It's in there this time, I think. All right, let's try it. All right, as you can see, that snap ring is in there. When I try to pull the shaft out, it won't come out. You can hear it hitting against the ring. That's what you want. There's a kind of a different kind of setup than I'm used to seeing. There's a seal. I wouldn't call it a seal. It's more like just a plate that has seal rubber on it. Just seals this hole up. And it just sits down in here, and there's a lip that it sits against. So I'm just going to tap it down in there. I had to pry that out with a screwdriver. I didn't want to drill a hole in it like I did with that other one because I didn't want to get a new one. So I pried it out. And now I just put it back in. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to clean this and get it really dry. And this plate, this little black plate right here goes on top of it. I'm going to seal this with RTV when I put it back on. Alright. Go around here with some of this red like my dad likes. Probably won't leak. He's got a tendency to be right about things. Alright. Set this plate on here. Line the holes up. There's 4 Allen head little bolts with wire. You don't gotta be super tight. They're Allen heads, so you want to be able to take them back out without stripping them. Wipe off the excess Permatex. New seals. Got her all sealed up. Now I gotta go get I gotta clean this table off. And I gotta go get my tractor deck. Bring it in here so I can install this back on it. There's a little spacer that goes in between these 2 bearings. You gotta line it up for that shaft to slide down through there. Of course, you gotta make sure your PTO shaft is rotated rearward because that's where the PTO comes from. These bolts here that have spacers, I don't know what that was. Something's laying on top of my building. These bolts here that have spacers go on this side. What the heck is going on out there? Get these started before you, anytime you're putting any kind of a bracket on anything. I don't care if you're working on an engine, transmission. If you're putting a bracket on, always, without any question, put all the bolts in before you tighten one of them. Because if you put, even if you put most of them in and wait till the very last, put the last one in, it won't go in. And you have to take them all back loose to get the last one stuck. So always put all the bolts in loose and then tighten them all at one time. Get them nice and snug. They got lock washers so they shouldn't go anywhere. This deck's pretty smooth, it don't vibrate very much. done, bolted on. Put the belt around the tensioner pulley here. I gotta get that spring to go back on there. Oh yeah, that did it. Hopefully y'all could see that. Oh yeah. Leverage is how I got that done. Alright, I got the gearbox back on top of the deck. I flipped it over. I'm gonna put this spacer back in. Goes like that. And of course that blade lays on there. I'm gonna sharpen the blades. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. be good, but it done better than I can do, I guess. Let's get this last one sharpened. I'm not wearing safety glasses. Don't do what I do. Wear safety glasses. I pressure washed all this out before I done this work. I'd like to take some POR 15 and paint it, but I don't have any. We're about to put this input drive shaft back on. So I've got a limited supply of tools here at the house. Quite a bit of stuff, but get these two grease fittings. Nope, it does not say. Interesting. It don't say on here either. I don't know what weight oil to put in it. I'll have to figure that out. It doesn't say on any of the decals what to use. I don't know. So I'll call this Real King guy.